Dark Side Rey. Is that what we're calling her? Are we calling her Dark Side Rey? Are we going with that? Yeah? Okay. Is she a clone? Is this a vision? Is Rey under some kind of mind-controlled possession? Did Rey actually go to the dark side voluntarily? Speculation and guesses and theories, if you want to call them theories, have always been a thing in Star Wars. And this moment, more than any other moment I would say, has turned everything on its head and made the most wildest speculation just as plausible as the most subdued. Because no one knows. As Richard Feynman said, if you think you understand what happens in the Rise of Skywalker, you don't understand what happens in the Rise of Skywalker. Well, he actually didn't say that. He died in 1988. He was talking about quantum mechanics. But you get it. What do I think is the most plausible? I think this is a vision. I think Rey is having a vision very similar to Luke in the cave on Dagobah, very similar to Rey in the cave on Ahch-To. Visions have been a thing in Star Wars forever and ever, and this, I believe, is the most plausible explanation. But I'm going to be talking about other explanations here, things that I've seen pop up on the internet, things that I've thought of on my own, whether or not they're plausible, possible, whether or not we'll see them. There's a lot to unpack here. Let's start off with Rey being a clone. It's an idea that doesn't really sit well with me. It's an idea that seems a little out there and goofy. Yes, obviously there have been clones in Star Wars, but making Rey a clone would kind of void a lot of the qualities that make Rey interesting. Rey is an individual. Rey has no royal bloodline. Rey, as Kylo said, has no place in this story. Her parents were drunks and junkers and pieces of shit. What makes Rey special is her individuality, her fish out of water characteristics. That's what makes her special. And to turn Rey into a clone would be a disservice to what they've built for her character. And I don't really understand what the obsession is with clones. Seems like there's always clone rumors for different Star Wars movies. The idea doesn't excite me at all. The idea doesn't really interest me either. I don't know. This scene from The Last Jedi was really interesting, and I think this scene hints at way more than just boom clones. Now, does Rey actually voluntarily go to the dark side? To me, I think this is the easiest one to throw away, which might mean it's actually going to happen. The one that you least expect, right? The one that you go, that'll never happen. But I just can't see it happening. Voluntarily going to the dark side, unless something crazy has happened in the past 2 years between The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker. I just can't picture Rey going down that path voluntarily. More likely is that Rey finds the balance, right? There is balance. She talks about balance in The Last Jedi. She has a moment of reflection as Luke teaches her. These films are about balance. And I think Rey's ultimate goal, whether she knows it or not, is finding that balance. People always talk about the gray Jedi, right? That balance between the light and the dark. And I think that is the path. That is the most likely path. I do not see her doing a complete 180 and willingly going full monster. I think we all have a tendency, me included, whenever we see a tiny little morsel come out from a trailer, a teaser, whatever, to kind of put our own spin on things based off of what we've seen before, right? What we're familiar with. Oh, clones, and it looks like it's going to be a clone. Oh, it looks like Dark Side Rey. It looks like it's going to be a Dark Side Rey. Oh, it looks like a vision. We've seen vision before. It looks like it's going to be a vision. All interpretations seem to be valid and all seem to be based off of what we've seen in Star Wars, whether it be in canon or legends before. It's kind of interesting how that works out. I think another extremely plausible explanation for what we're seeing in the trailer is that Rey is under some kind of possession, some kind of mind control. Now look, I know we've seen mind control with the Jedi mind trick, Palpatine clouding the Jedi Council's minds, things like that, but somebody under full mind control, full possession, as if somebody is pulling the strings, as if somebody is playing them like a video game controller, controlling their actions, controlling everything for a long stretch of time. Maybe that's been seen in video games, maybe that's been seen in comics, but introducing it now in a film, I guess it could work. I guess, Palpatine is the big bad guy. Who knows what role he's going to play, if he's going to be in physical form, which I kind of doubt. Who knows, but I suppose that they could have Palpatine controlling Rey's brain. We'll see. I'm pretty simple when it comes to my Star Wars, and the more they introduce like that, the more goofy things start to feel. And the more people will say, why didn't they do that before? Why hasn't this been done before? That's a plot hole. I'm sure we would hear that too, right? You know, when we see Rey in the trailer, she definitely looks like she's not all there. So it is a possibility. I would rather it be the case than a clone, but we'll see. I still think this is a vision of sorts. A vision from Kylo, a vision from Rey. I don't know how it'll come into play. Visions, I think, I've heard people say, even on my live streams lately, that visions are kind of, feel like they're jumping the shark and it's beating a dead horse at this point with visions. But to me, it seems plausible. And it seems like one of the least goofy scenarios that I've heard. And I don't want time travel. I don't want time travel introduced into Star Wars film material in the final chapter of the saga either. That would just feel so forced and so dumb. If that's the case, I will be the first person on YouTube to jump and say that is ridiculous. Time travel, you know, works in certain franchises when it's ham-fisted into places where I don't believe it belongs. It just seems like one of those kind of like science fiction get out of jail free cards. But yeah, man, there's so much to interpret from this little moment, so much mystery. And I'm definitely feeding the speculation here and just kind of talking out of my ass, but I've had more of a desire to do that with this trailer and this film than the previous ones. Like I've said, this teaser has left me with so many questions than answers. And it's left me wanting not to figure things out. I don't want to figure things out, but just to let my mind wander and think about the possibilities. And once again, nobody knows. Nobody's got it figured out. There's constant misdirections, constant bait and switches. Putting things in trailers that the audience, the Star Wars fans, we see for a split second and we think there's some grand reason for it being in there, right? We see these moments and it's all we have to go by. So we prop them up and we go, this must be a major thing. C-3PO has red eyes. It must be a major thing. And maybe it is, but maybe it's just an innocent explanation, right? And Rey's a clone. It must be a clone. Rey goes to the dark side. It must be a dark side. Rey is Palpatine. Rey is possessed by Palpatine. Maybe it's a vision too. Everyone seems to kind of put these grand plans, overthink things on fractions of a second that we see in trailers. And I get it. It's fun. So with all that being said, what do you guys think? What's your best guess? Let me know in the comments section down below. This moment has intrigued me more than any other teaser trailer in Star Wars, I think. It's just got that mystery sauce dumped all over it. I dig it.